Hey everyone, Noble Xenon here, and welcome back to some more Reddit intellectuals. Let's get started. So, with my 130 plus IQ in this channel, I am going to ace physics next year. Well, it's been 7 years. How'd it go? And for this next one, fear this next intellectual, for they have hacked human biology. I am my only company 99% of the time, and you may be surprised to hear this, but it has made me happier, more compassionate, and more logical, and especially more loyal to myself and more self-esteem. I am no longer bound by the menial mental paths of humans. I can be the true me. I can evolve in a way that I could never have in the company of other people. I can explore any pathway, any possibility. I can see 1,000 worlds that are hidden to most, 1,000 connections. These are not the words of a madman. These are the words of a man who found himself, and deep within himself he found the world again. Unfortunately, us mere mortals could never reach such an ascended state, not in a million years. And now we go to Facebook, where people are bragging about their IQ. An IAmVerySmart classic. Flexing an IQ of 97, lord. Right, I haven't done a test since 16, but they had me take a few that year and I never got under 130. I'd be embarrassed to say my IQ was 97. I mean, they're right that an IQ of 97 isn't anything to brag about, but that's only because IQ scores in general aren't anything to brag about. Intellectual accomplishments are a lot more impressive than a mere IQ score. We go from Facebook to LinkedIn, where this intellectual claims that reading corrupts. I and my wife were watching a movie, and in the end scene of the movie, this girl who was saved by a hero from prostitution meets the hero and talks how she has started a new life. She took out a book from her bag and hero asks, "Oh, you have started reading also?" I immediately asked my wife, who is 5 times bigger reader than I am, if I read 6 nonfiction books in a year. She reads 30 minimum of subjects varying from Vedic astrology to Greek epics to Noam Chomsky to the biography of Steve Jobs. Why is reading so highly appreciated? She replied seriously, because it changes your thinking, perspective. I interrupted her, or how this person puts it, interrupted her. Oh, what it does, it corrupts you. You become a misfit. A misfit for reading. Interesting. I observed if one reads a lot, one's common sense changes, one's view of seeing and interacting with the world changes, and then one becomes a misfit in a usual group of people who do not read, do not travel, or if they travel like horse with blinds, who are enjoying their jobs as experts, have status in society, have good families, and are waiting for retirement. And then this reader traveler becomes lonely and misunderstood just because of having different thought process among a crowd of even educated and professional people. What do you think? I'm sorry, I shouldn't have read your post then. LinkedIn really is getting ridiculous. And Trolley Gag says man interrupts wife. News at 11. Finally, we go back to Reddit. Would you quit being friends with someone if they had extreme political views? Oh god, we might be stepping into a minefield with this one. I am a very rare specimen of neo-Hegelian ego-Marxism with post-structuralist tendencies. I am the friend who has extreme views, not because, but because. I'm a philosophy reader. You see, a real intelligent person would realize that we are living in a post-spelling society. This has to be some kind of strange attempt at satire. This next one was too smart for America's school system in 1st grade. Before coming to America at age 7, I already knew algebra. I started basic math all over again in LAUSD, facepalm, and a woozy face for some reason, and a laughing emoji. Algebra in 1st grade? What do you do now? You might have known algebra at 7, but no country is supposed to teach that in 1st grade. This next one's taste buds are so cultured, their taste buds might be more intelligent than our brains. So someone first says, yes you can, just talk to them. Making food doesn't have to be a deep historical lesson in order to appreciate a recipe, method of cooking, or mixture of seasonings, herbs, etc. And the intellectual replies, no you can't. This is the illusion of tourist globalism and a bit of paternalistic post-colonial retro culture. What? The so-called deep historical lesson belongs to the same context that Americans keep calling tradition. They attribute tradition as the reason why culinary cultures tend to remain anchored to certain customs, with a subtle aftertaste of backwardness and rejection of progress. Americans, as usual, are wrong. Tradition is only a consequence, not the cause. You just confessed it. If it tastes good, it tastes good. But sorry for you, you lack the taste buds to know what is good in any culture. Taste buds and taste itself have to be trained in the context of a specific culinary culture in which people grew up. The only thing you can perceive as a foreign culinary explorer is the surface of flavors and tastes. You cannot understand quality, measure, balance, complexity of combinations, rhythm, and harmony. You would need decades of proximity to be trained to perceive these aspects. You can only exclaim it's good if the taste is compatible with those to which you are accustomed, or it's bad if it's something alien to the scale of taste values to which you have been trained. How about you just let people enjoy food that tastes great to them? Different people have different tastes, and it sounds like this person is just trying to appreciate different foods from around the world. The first person, not the intellectual. Hey, if you're enjoying this video, then why not like, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell? This next one claims pop culture Jeopardy is for brainlets. Who asked for this? It was me, sorry, I asked for this. I guess I should have run it by you. You're right, it was rude of me, and I'm sorry. Sorry, I should have made sure that it was made for people with ascended IQ levels, not just, average IQ folk. I mean, it gives me an opportunity to enjoy more Jeopardy with my daughter. I'm glad there's a bigger effort to broaden the audience because I want my love of Jeopardy to live on with my daughter. Anyone who values actual intelligence can fall in love with Jeopardy on its own merits. And as I and many others have, pop culture Jeopardy undermines this by bringing the show down to a plebeian level. This is not a positive development for Jeopardy. The downfall of a show that is televised to a wide audience of millions of people, one which already had pop culture questions. Or answers, because you're supposed to respond with a question. This next one is so intelligent, they have to start the game of life with a handicap. And no, I don't mean the board game. I don't want to sleep because I want to be dumb. Does anyone relate? I'm curious about everything. I feel I apparently experience a lot of things more deeply than others as a result. I'm impacted socially the most by this. I want to bond with people beyond the human limitations. Except, don't you have the same human limitations? I want to know everything about them. I want to be there for them, know how best to help them, learn everything they've experienced, etc., but I can't. Everything feels so superficial. I just have lunchbox friends, not true friends. I come across as very intense, even though I suppress as much as I can of it, and people are put off by me. My family says I'm too intelligent, complex, and nowhere near their level, so they can't understand me. Does your family say that, or do you say that to yourself? So I just don't sleep, inhale caffeine and whatever makes my brain too frazzled to be curious about anything. I become more impulsive and do stupid stuff and pretty much pretend I'm an idiot. I drink river water, eat paper, do and say silly stuff. I want to learn. I love learning, but I think and feel too much and it hurts being unable to express it all. The superficiality of life really kills me. My outlook on life and people feels like unrequited love. Honestly, it sounds like this person is on a dangerous path and they need to get some help ASAP, please. Depriving yourself of sleep is not the solution. And now a college freshman who just finished their Eastern philosophy course weighs in on the NFL. Why are you so entangled in the trivialities of these games? The Chiefs, the Falcons, these are but mere constructs of the mind, distractions to keep you away from the truth of existence. You expect excitement, but excitement is fleeting. It is like a flame that burns brightly for a moment only to vanish into the vastness of nothingness. You see, this attachment to outcomes, whether the Chiefs win or lose, that is the root of your suffering. You expect them to bring you joy, to stir your emotions, yet all emotions are temporary. The game, the referees, the victories or defeats, these are illusions, samsara keeping you chained to the wheels of desires. If you wish to find true fulfillment, do not look to the game but within yourself. Whether they three-peat or fall short is irrelevant. What is relevant is your own awareness, your own awakening. Watch if you wish, but watch with detachment. Do not let the outcome define you. Be the witness, not the participant. The true game is life itself, and it is played not on a field, but within the depths of your being. No one is watching football for true fulfillment. Temporary enjoyment is like the whole point of watching sports. Or maybe I'm just falling for an obvious troll, but they're not done. No, there's more. You see, your question reveals the very conditioning I speak of. You think in terms of seminars, education, knowledge gained from books or institutions, but understanding, true understanding, does not come from such spaces. It is not confined to the walls of academia academia. The wisdom I speak of cannot be taught, for it is not intellectual, it is existential. It is the flowering of consciousness that arises when one looks beyond the surface of things. What you call Eastern religion is not a subject to be studied, it is the very essence of life itself, to be experienced, to be lived. Your mind is asking, what does he know, and where did he learn it? But the mind is always seeking labels, always trying to categorize. Step beyond the mind, and you will see what I say has no origin in any seminar or any classroom. It comes from silence, from being in tune with the whole, from seeing life as it is. When you are ready to move beyond the intellectual and into the experiential, you will understand. Until then, remain open, because what you dismiss as a freshman seminar may in fact be the key to your liberation. r/IAmVeryExperiential? I don't know. By the way, apparently there are pages and pages of this stuff in this person's post history. If we had to dig through all that, we'd be here all day. We've got to move on. And now some YouTube comments. Terrific of you to publicly be a booster of this child. That will shape his life in a positive way. There's so much trash talking online. If bullying ever gets unbearable for him, he can always watch your video and smile. Bravo! Bravo. But of course an intellectual just had to reply and brag. Anytime smart kids or adults get low enough and need a self-esteem boost, we take an IQ test. The reminder is nice, he will be more than fine. You see, I don't need therapy or a support group. All I need is an IQ test, and that is enough. Some people really do think IQ tests can prove everything. So we have an avid reader, coder, juggler, ex-nurse, and traveler who answers the question, how can you identify highly intelligent people? Well, I can spot it by their speech. They have a particular type of thinking. For example, when someone mentions an apple tree, the intelligent one can come up almost immediately with the wormhole, or curvature of the space-time. WTF? How? Why? Well, they can make associations such as apple tree to apple to wormhole to curvature of the space-time. Truly incredible stuff, and the ordinary person can't even see what's going on. We were talking about the orchard, so where does the space shit come out? Out of the wormhole, duh. Back to Facebook. Being super smart is so satisfying in today's societal construct. Maneuver. Act. Win. Be patient. They are not capable of surviving your mental acuity. Crush their ambitions with overwhelming predication and make them regret the web they dare to tread upon. This next one is feeling fed up and saying so much while saying nothing at all. Found out recently that quite a bit of men identify greater intelligence in women as a threat. Undoubtedly, there's a correlation between intelligence and masculinity. The ego is a fragile thing. Most conversations remain rather two-dimensional, and that feels rather insufficient when attempting to relate to another. It's practically as if people have lost interest in the art of conversation, and simply view it as redundant. It's a shame. I apologize for any offense when establishing this statement, but yes, eloquence is an actively decaying trait in the modern day. Who knew diction could suffer from gangrene as well? Nowadays, people's tongues only manifest into existence when presented with an opportunity in wagging them. Minds, tongues, and hearts are lost if never utilized. What are you even on about? And for this next one, this guy excels. This chart they use to scare you in a con job. That scary 45-degree angle in CO2 looks alarming, doesn't it? I dare you to do what I did and download their data for that chart, and on Excel create a new spreadsheet and enter the data. Then from that data create a new chart, but instead of the bottom starting at 310 parts per million, started at 0 and the top at 1 million. The data is in part per million, so use 1 million for the top number. What you get is real perspective. It's a flat line across the bottom. The con job is using 410 parts per million, so they get a scary 45-degree angle climate. That, my friends, is how they use statistics to lie to you. Go ahead and do it for yourself and see for yourself. This is how I analyze data with critical thinking skills. Yes, to this person, apparently it's only a problem if the air is entirely made of CO2. And Jimbo WQC says now download the same data. Make a chart but only show the y-axis from -100 to 100. Now CO2 is literally off the chart. Any questions? This next person is so smart, they shouldn't even exist. And this is how they're trying to DM someone on Reddit? FYI, I was severely tested for IQ and profound giftedness from grades 2nd to 5th by university psychologists and postgraduate students. Now I want to know how severe IQ testing works. My verbal IQ is unmeasurable as an above 195 IQ deviation, not ratio, today as an adult. The last psychologist to test me 1-to-1 later as an adult very visibly reacted as if she saw a ghost once she calculated my IQ and was so threatened by me that she never spoke to me again. This is no hyperbole. I'm being literal with you. Finally, for me to take any more IQ tests is just being redundant. They all say the same thing. That even after subtracting IQ points to account for measurement error this far to the right extreme of the bell curve, my statistical rarity in terms of IQ is still greater than 1 in 15 billion. In other words, and statistically speaking, I shouldn't even exist. So ponder that, won't you, before you continue to bore me with your predictable and vapid objections? Pseudo-intellectual wants to chat. Accept the request to start chatting. I think I'll pass, Reddit, thanks. This has to be some kind of copy pasta. There is no way that someone with actually that high of an IQ would spend their time trolling people on Reddit. That would be a complete waste of their intelligence. Meaning, this person is clearly lying about their IQ. And now a comment on a YouTube short followed by others pretending to be smart. I'm also more than likely the most intelligent person you will ever actually communicate with in your life. I doubt we could hold a conversation and actually understand each other. If you want to make a coy attempt to describe my level of intelligence, I get bored with kids at Harvard. Not bored by a numbing of my mind and not understanding, but at the fact even there, people tend to be slow to grasp complexity and with any sort of speed, though speed is mix much more common in that setting. Yes, mix. Met some fast minds, fast and deep though, that is so very rare. Inadvisably Applied says, I doubt we could hold a conversation and actually understand each other, that's not the flex you think it is. And Zoltron replies, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. And for this next one, I am smart, now I am strong. My IQ as a kid was 132 and I was 3 years ahead in elementary school. Now look at you, benching over 3 plates, business owner, living in an amazing city and married with a kid. I know what they meant, but at first I was like, hold up, wait a minute. And now we have some texts. People think I can't possibly be funny merely because I don't tell jokes. I don't think people think that. In reality, jokes I make would go over yours or anybody's head. I've tried, oh believe me. But when I attempt to be lighthearted/witty, it's usually banter too nuanced for the general population to appreciate. It's hard being stuck in your own brain. And for this next one, bruh, will not be accepted. It's absolutely cringeworthy how some people still use that word. It's like they're stuck in a perpetual state of trying too hard to be cool. It's no wonder that only Zoomers seem to find it remotely amusing. But hey, if you enjoy sounding like an outdated meme, go ahead and keep saying bruh. The rest of us will be over here using words that actually have some substance. All I can say to that is bruh. Though it is kinda cringe when people use it like constantly, this particular person just said it once on a YouTube comment. Now we have a Redditor who's being a giant a-hole in general towards people that struggle with math and talks like they're superior than them for being better at it. The superiority of being a mathematical genius. People who aren't good at math are just lazy people who just doesn't want to be good at math and they make excuses, but then they are easily cheated by bank or store because they're unable to actually see where they fall into a trap. Sorry, but that's just how it is. All those sheeple who buy discounted stuff that isn't worth the price, or signing a bad contract with a company. Idiots, all of them. Thing is, the problem is bigger than the OP is making it. Yes, far bigger. So definitely it's not too deep. People are dumb because they refuse to understand math. Math is literally everything in the world. Not exaggeration, math is everything. Any laws of the world are nothing else but math. And even social problems are. People are easily being cheated because they are unable to see when it happens. And it happens on a daily basis in stores. Discount, discount. Funny how those discounted items are often more expensive than not discounted items, despite actually having a discount. Or banks that makes you sign up contract that is not really good for you and they tell you that it's super cool. Everything is written in math, always. There is a difference between actually not being good at math and making a fuss about it. Most people, some are, even in this comment section, are mad at everyone and everything they're bad at math. But judging by their attitude, they never really tried. They just became anti-math with a pride. This isn't something an intelligent person should do. I can understand your problem, but not people who just don't want to be good at math. And the reply, I have have dyscalculia. It's an actual learning disability. Effort is not going to change anything about that. When I say I suck at maths, it's my way of letting people know not to expect big things of me without getting into my diagnosis, because I don't always want to explain that. And that's fair enough. Constantly having to explain your disability is so exhausting. And yes, it's maths, plural, because I'm not from the USA. And the intellectual replies, I have dyslexia, yet I'm better at grammar than 99% of native speakers of my country. What's your point? No one cares about your personal anecdotes. Like, good for you. Just because you can doesn't mean others will be able to do the same. Finally, someone said it. It also applies generally to being proud of flaws. For example, being proud of being cruel. Can't think of an example of it now, but people sometimes are baddies and they say it like they acknowledge it's bad, but they're still proud of it. Especially people who are bad at math are easy to manipulate and they're naive. I said it countless times already, but I'm gonna say it more. People are often cheated by banks or stores. Yeah, we get it, buddy. But you should really blame the cheaters, not the people who are not good at math. Something is cheaper because it's a promotion? Wrong. Often regular price of higher volume product is cheaper than but 2 with a discount of smaller volume, but people buy the smaller volume and discount because it's cheaper. It's not. Same goes for pizza. Few centimeters more and the pizza is 75% bigger. I think it was 40 centimeters and 50 centimeters, with 50 centimeters being 1.75 of 40 centimeters because of how area works. Higher diameter makes circle get bigger because the outer additional centimeters are bigger than the same amount of centimeters in the inner part of the circle. Anyone understands that, but sometimes people really buy 2 smaller pizzas for significantly more and not eat the whole anyway because they don't know that. Also, math is not just counting, it's thinking. Yes, math's whole purpose is being able to think, solving logical problems, understanding stuff, and math is literally everywhere. You are just running and want to stop? You are opposing the force of momentum. You see the honeycomb? Math in a nutshell. Every part of life is math. Actually knowing how your momentum affects your run is applied mathematics. Because you understand it without actual computation. I'm not a super pro at math, but I am a gamer, and some puzzles and games are really math problems, and some of them, even if I couldn't make a chart of them, I could solve intuitively, but only because I understand math. I often see people complaining that games have Einstein-level or 300 IQ puzzles. They really aren't. They're just high school beginner to intermediate kind of math problems at best. But this kind of people who suck at math are complaining because they are unable to solve simple puzzles. Their whole attitude is against math whatsoever. Instead of trying to understand it, they are going against it, and then they think everyone is being mean to them by expecting to solve this or that. Math is the base of the world. If you suck at math, you suck at life. Honestly, this post was exhausting. I'm ending this video right here. So, I'd like to thank all of my members, especially Amethyst Phoenix, Catalin Cormendi, and VicMeister1999. You can join simply by clicking the join button below. Feel free to like, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell if you enjoyed it, and feel free to comment if you've got something on your mind.